If you give me just a few minutes, I promise this is the last video that you ever need to watch about why you can understand English but not speak. We will solve this problem once and for all. And because I went through the same things that you're going through right now, I'm not a native English speaker and I didn't start learning English when I was a kid. I know exactly how painful and frustrating it is to understand almost everything, but when you want to speak, nothing comes out. Or maybe sometimes it does, but not in a natural way. After this video, you will know exactly why and how to solve this problem that a lot of English learners have. So to start, I want to give you a knowledge. Pay full attention because this is going to be really important for you to understand everything. Imagine going to the gym and you see someone doing an arm exercise. And for some reason, that person was doing it wrong. And everybody there was stronger than him. They started to judge him, make fun of him, and tell him he was doing it wrong. And for some reason, you watching that scene, you tell yourself, I don't want to train arms anymore. Knowing that everyone around you is more advanced than you. You don't want to train arms anymore. After that moment, you just want to train legs. For some reason, you just want to train legs now after that experience, after that thing that you just witnessed. You keep training legs, and after a few weeks, guess what? Your legs look really nice, but your arms shows no development, no progress, nothing. Well, it's obvious, you didn't train it. It's the same thing with English. Obviously, if you don't practice speaking and just listen, you're not gonna be able to speak. But there's way more than that. You probably already know that the reason you cannot speak English is because you don't practice enough or you don't practice at all. But we have to look at the source of the problem, which is where the problem really lies. There are two reasons why you don't practice speaking. The first one is that you consume too much. Yes, let me explain. When you consume too much, especially videos like this, to solve a problem, your brain releases dopamine. It feels good because it feels like you're doing something to solve the problem. But the problem is that your brain will release a very similar amount of dopamine when you actually make progress. For example, let's say you speak with a native speaker and you do pretty well. You don't make mistakes, you don't mispronounce any words. Immediately, you feel amazing because of that dopamine high. You are excited and happy. And this is exactly how you can get yourself into a trap that prevents you from practicing as much as you should. So you end up listening too much. This brings to my next point and second reason why you don't practice your speaking skills. You are afraid. So let me go back to the gym analogy. When you saw someone training a muscle that you wanted to train, but people were judging and making fun of that person, and everyone there was more advanced than you, you created this fear inside of your head. Now, think about speaking in English. You always hear that people would judge you, make fun of you, and maybe you know someone that experienced that. This creates a limiting belief in your mind that turns into fear, which blocks you from practicing, especially with other people. And that is normal. Most people go through it. It destroys your ego, having to face someone who you know is better than you at something you want to be better at. But sometimes you focus too much on negative experience, which can be magnified, even if they are rare. Let me tell you from experience, I've talked to a few native speakers and other people who knew more than me. And they were always so respectful. They were actually excited that someone from another country could speak their language. Of course, like anything in life, no matter what it is, there's always going to be someone to judge you. No matter what you do, there's always going to be someone. For me, for example, by starting this YouTube channel, people are going to judge me. By going to the gym, people are going to judge me. By trying this new thing, whatever it might be, people are going to judge me. It's normal, it's part of life. And especially when you try to be perfect speaking English, you put even more pressure on yourself. I've seen so many native English speakers make mistakes themselves. The idea that you have to be perfect is just crazy and it will block you. If you stop trying to be perfect, you will have less pressure on yourself and free yourself from all these feelings. I remember I had an interview that could have changed my life forever in English. I was so nervous, trying to be perfect, trying to control what was out of my control. And I didn't do so well. And I know for sure that if I had just let it go, the outcome could have been different. And once you realize that the only reason you can understand English but not speak is because you don't practice enough, and the reason you don't practice enough is because you consume too much, you listen too much, and you are afraid, trying to be perfect all the time, you will solve this problem eventually. There's nothing that I can say that will magically make you improve. And that's why sometimes you need a community with people that can support you, or a mentor that can help you along the way. It can hold you accountable, to this process. Because some people can do it by themselves, but a lot of people, the majority of people, cannot do it by themselves. They need someone to hold them accountable. And that is why it's so important. And that is why you have to sometimes pay a little bit, buy a course or buy a mentorship. So you put that money on a line now. So that money holds yourself accountable. So you have to do it now. You gotta do it. You cannot procrastinate anymore. That if you don't do it, you're gonna lose that money. So you have to do it now. You gotta understand that, and you're gonna pay it with time or with money. So when you pay someone to help you, to hold you accountable, you are saving a lot of time, but you are spending a little bit of money. So you gotta choose which one do you want. That is why it's so important to have a mentor or have a community around you with people that can support you. I cannot go physically to each one of your houses and say, go practice, and force you. It has to come from you. You have to take action. And I know you will, because I believe in you. If you want to join my community, link in the description below, and I will see you very soon.